This is Brightline, the newest high-speed passenger rail line in the USA. Today I'll be taking you for a ride on board, traveling from the Grand Orlando station, speeding through Florida, direct to downtown Miami, showing you just what it's like to travel in premium first class, from the exclusive station lounges to the extra legroom and complimentary onboard meal service. But this train isn't without its problems, so join me as I discover what's going on with America's troubled high-speed train. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm here at Orlando Airport and I'm going to be catching America's newest high-speed train. I'm catching the Brightline down to Miami and I'm going to be travelling in premium first class. Really looking forward to this journey. Let's go! Welcome to Brightline's impressively large station, serving the city of Orlando, Florida. This grand construction opened its doors in 2023, part of the ambitious operator's plans to extend the service from its existing Miami hub. The station is poorly located. It's on the far side of Orlando Airport, away from the city. There's a direct walkway to Terminal C of the airport, with other terminals reachable by People Mover shuttle. I could not see any form of public transport to or from the city centre here. Instead, the station has a large amount of nearby parking, as well as plenty of bays for ride-sharing drop-off and pick-up. This reflects the expectations of the American market. Public transport in America has a bad reputation. It's often slow, unreliable, and dirty. Brightline is up against years of such negative connotations, and I've got to say, Orlando Station was certainly a different vibe to many others I've passed through in the country. The main mode of long-distance transportation in America is the plane, and Brightline is set up in a similar fashion, with checked luggage counters to the left and a security checkpoint before the departures area. Many airports in the USA are known for their endless security lines and unpleasant, crowded terminals. This Brightline station, however, is the complete opposite. There's a great selection of seating, either for working or relaxing before departure, and even a bookable conference room. On top of this, there's a stylish, relaxed bar and a small market selling a selection of food and drinks. There's even a large choice of souvenirs on sale here, which was pretty cool. Let me know in the comments if you know of any other train companies who sell merchandise like this. As I'm travelling in premium first class, I get access to a dedicated premium lounge. The interior design here was great, with the lounge offering a peaceful and pleasant space to wait for the train. There's a variety of seats with a view, many overlooking the station car park. But my favourite had to be the desks, where you can catch a glimpse of our high-speed train before departure. Premium first-class passengers also get access to an open buffet here, with a range of hot and cold options available. My train today is the 2:50 p.m. service all the way down to Miami. Boarding is called about 10 minutes prior to departure, with the doors unlocked and all passengers free to board. Now, you may notice something a little bit different about Brightline's trains compared to those found on other high-speed rail routes around the world. Yes, that's right, they run on diesel power. There is no electrification on Brightline's network. This is an SCB-40 diesel locomotive, part of the Siemens charger family that's taking over many passenger routes in North America. This variant in particular is capable of 125 miles an hour in service, and is fitted with a streamlined nose cone as a result. One of these locomotives is situated on each end of our 5-car train, for 2 in total, with premium first class being located just behind the front locomotive. This is one of the new Siemens venture cars, a somewhat controversial design across North America lately, but we'll find out why that is a bit later on. My seat is 6C, a forward-facing solo seat.
For me, but most of that is going west.
Today's route sees us first speeding east towards the coast, before running into West Palm Beach and then slowing down as we serve numerous stations in South Florida. Journey time is 3 hours 30 minutes, covering 233 miles. We leave Orlando on time at 2:50 p.m. Before we reach the dedicated high-speed line, we first navigate north, through the middle of Orlando Airport, running alongside the many aircraft taxiing to and from the runway. But enough about planes, we're not making a flying review today. The interior here in premium first class features a good mix of more private, airline-style seating and spacious tables for 2 or 4 passengers. Car interiors are, like the name suggests, bright, with an off-white leather design on the seats and large windows letting in a lot of natural light. It's a pretty pleasant space to spend a few hours, and the upcoming onboard meal service will only add to the experience. Now let's talk about the seats. I won't beat around the bush here, these seats are poor. Whilst there's a fair amount of padding available, what really stands out here is the posture of the seats. These seats are so upright, and it's not a comfortable position to be sat in. But I'm curious, have you tried these seats before? Let me know what you think in the comments. However, I'm pleased to report that there is a lot of legroom, and you certainly won't feel hemmed in. At the side of the seats are wide folding armrests, with a good amount of padding to go with them too. And there's also a winged headrest. Theoretically, these seats do recline. However, the amount of recline is so small, it's barely worth mentioning. The seat in front features a large seatback table, folding down like so. There's also a smaller device holder, which I thought was a nice touch. And down here, a seatback pocket, perfect for storing smaller personal items. We're already cruising at 125 miles an hour along the dedicated stretch of high-speed track owned and controlled by Brightline. This line, despite its maximum operating speed, is single track, allowing just one train on the high-speed section at a time. There is, however, space for another track to allow for future expansion of the service that has already grown fast. Brightline started off service in 2018, running a small shuttle service from downtown Miami to West Palm Beach, with a sole intermediate stop in Fort Lauderdale. This was the first, and as yet only, privately owned intercity passenger rail route in the entire United States, and ridership was well above expectations. 2022 saw the launch of 2 more intermediate stations, at Boca Raton and Aventura in South Florida. And finally, late 2023, the massive extension to Orlando has opened to passenger service, a true long-distance rail service here in Florida. But trouble was afoot, as come 2025, Brightline was still not making money, and short-distance ridership dropped as Brightline targeted more lucrative long-distance markets. And 2026 saw further concerns over Brightline's ability to pay back its construction debts. Anyway, looking on the bright side, we're speeding alongside the expressway, leaving cars for dust as we run at 125 miles an hour towards the coast. Just north of the small city of Cocoa, we slow down. While our journey so far has been on Brightline infrastructure, the rest of our route is on rather more traditional tracks. This line is operated by the Florida East Coast Railway and is shared with freight trains. Though unlike many typical passenger routes in the country, this line is double track, minimizing the lengthy delays caused by waiting for a slot. It's now time for meal service. This starts with a snack basket with a range of options available to choose. I went for the can of sour cream and onion crisps. With the snacks all done, it's time to peruse the premium menu. The offering here depends on the journey being made and the time of travel, with trips to and from Orlando getting the full meal service. Drinks are also included in my premium ticket, though beware, this is limited to between 2 and 4 depending on the journey, with the top quality spirits and wines being chargeable. I ordered a local Florida wheat beer, which went down very nicely. And it wasn't long before my butternut squash and quinoa salad arrived, served alongside pickled vegetables and a small fruit platter. Finally, a dark chocolate treat with a raspberry filling to finish. Overall, this was a pleasant and healthy meal, made all the more enjoyable by being able to eat it at 110 miles per hour. North America's railways are predominantly for freight, and that becomes all the more apparent as we head south on the infrastructure of the Florida East Coast Railway, with numerous freight branches and yards beside the track. Here we slow down to a crawl. This is the city of Stuart, sat on the St. Lucie River. With the marina home to many yachts and sailboats, the river sees a lot of traffic heading out to sea, meaning our railway line physically moves out of the way when needed by way of drawbridge. I certainly haven't seen that on a high-speed line before. About 2 hours after leaving Orlando, we've made it to West Palm Beach. From here, our journey will be quite a bit different, as we'll soon see.
Thank you for riding Brightline. Have a bright day.
Brightline's trains are formed of between 4 and 10 cars, with premium first class at the southern end. The remainder of the train is smart class, with seats in a 2+2 layout, though the overall design and comfort is similar. And there's definitely a lot more space here than on a plane. Just look at that legroom. The entire train features large overhead luggage racks, with even more space available in the luggage stacks at the end of the carriage. I mentioned earlier that there were checked luggage counters at the station, and that luggage is stored here, in a secure box at the end of a carriage. Large accessible toilets can be found at the end of each carriage, and these were kept in good condition during the journey. These train toilets were actually sponsored by Dyson, which I thought was pretty interesting. Anyway, the soap dispenser was not working, though the water was fine. The hand dryer was ridiculous though, blowing the water all over the place. Opposite the toilets is a small lounge area, perfect for making phone calls. People making noisy phone calls and playing videos out loud is one of the most annoying parts of travelling by train these days, so seeing the Brightline staff actively telling people not to do this was certainly refreshing.
Welcome aboard. Please take a moment to familiarize yourself with the safety and emergency.
Each window has adjustable sunblinds. Unfortunately, I managed to visit on a particularly dull day here in the Sunshine State, but this would certainly be useful in summer. Above each seat is an individual reading light, with the train interior having a generally relaxed ambience with soft lighting. There is plenty of at-seat power for every passenger, with a pair of 2-pin sockets and 2 USB-A sockets beside the seat, and another pair of 2-pin sockets with 2 USB-C sockets attached to the seat in front. Lastly, there's free onboard Wi-Fi for all passengers. This was easy to connect to and had incredibly good speeds. It was more than fast enough to stream YouTube, for example. This section of the route is a lot more built up, with the remainder of our journey being spent in the various cities along Florida's east coast. Our top speed drops to 79 miles an hour in this urban area, as there are a lot of road crossings here. Unfortunately, this leads to a lot of collisions, and even my train had a near miss just north of Fort Lauderdale that I tried to catch on camera. Brightline has the highest incident rate of this kind in the country, with locals who illegally go around the barriers, simply not expecting the speed of these passenger trains. Now let's talk about how much this premium first-class journey cost. I booked my trip 3 months in advance and paid $119 US. While this is expensive, it's a fair asking price for 3.5 hours on a high-speed train in first class. And we eventually pull in to MiamiCentral, right in the centre of the city at 6:14 PM. That's 6 minutes early. Overall, I had a really good time on Brightline. The trains were modern and clean, offering a spacious and pleasant environment that is much more comfortable than a domestic flight, not to mention the added convenience. However, I really hope they improve the seating, as this was poor. Brightline is a very different experience to what I am used to on other long-distance trains though, as I recently took a journey on a British high-speed train from Birmingham to London, trying out the new Avanti West Coast Hitachi trains on one of the UK's most important main lines. An interesting experience that you can learn about by clicking up here now.